Yo, what's going on, dude? So, do you ever feel like you're an NPC in the game of life? Maybe during the day you're following someone else's script, at night you're doing the same stupid routines over and over, and you get the sense that it's going nowhere. I'm gonna give you 5 real-life challenges for the next month that you can use to level up your stats, to embark on epic freaking quests, and to ultimately to live an exciting life. And if you complete these challenges, it will transform your life, I guarantee it. If you're still an NPC in 30 days, come back, leave it in the comments, I'll give you your money back, okay? By the way, I'm doing these challenges too in the next month, so we'll be doing them together. Okay, so at the start of my last year in university, my beloved girlfriend at the time broke up with my dumbass, okay? It wasn't funny at all at the time. It was winter time, I was going through this breakup, and I was just depressed. And I would take every opportunity to escape from that situation, right? And one way was television. And I'll never forget sitting in my depressing dorm room watching an episode of Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations, where he goes to Vietnam. And this is a travel food show. And the host of this show was the opposite of an NPC. He would do things his way. And that was so inspiring for me. And I told myself, one day I'm gonna make it to Vietnam. I'm gonna eat at the same restaurants. And it felt like such a distant possibility for me at the time. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna make this a goal. And it was exciting. It gave me that spark of inspiration. And fast forward a few years, I did go to Vietnam. I ate at the same restaurants that Anthony Bourdain did. And I actually moved to a neighboring country for almost a year. And since then, I've lived in 5 other countries. I never could have imagined what that spark of inspiration would later lead to. Okay, so now it's your turn to come up with your own exciting mission that you're gonna set for yourself. It should really be exciting and motivating. And this is really key. It should be different than what you normally do. Make it something outside of your comfort zone that almost feels a little bit scary. So a few examples for you: visiting a new country, or running a marathon in an exotic location, or doing a 10-day meditation retreat. And I want you to actually write this down on your calendar now, okay? Also, leave it in the comments, inspire other people. And by the way, I'm gonna be doing this too. I'm gonna be climbing a mountain, which I haven't done for years. All right, next point here, you gotta earn your morning skill points. I had a massive revelation a few years ago. Every morning I would jump right into my job, just like your average NPC automaton. I had other goals and skills I wanted to develop, but I always said later. And of course, what happens? Well, after the day is done, you're exhausted. It just doesn't happen. And that is the typical NPC pattern. You live in reaction to others, to your job, to the everyday tasks that you have to do. And the problem with that is that you never really grow and you never really change. But after that, I created a list of non-negotiables that I do every single morning before I get into the day's tasks. Address your strategic goals first every single day. Like many other investments, this will greatly compound over time. And if you don't make these long-term investments first, you're gonna stay stuck in that NPC trap. You gotta put yourself first. Okay, so your challenge is to make a list of the non-negotiable things that you're gonna do every single morning to advance your future self. This has nothing to do with your day-to-day tasks. This is all about strategic long-term thinking. Do this for 30 days straight. And just a few suggestions: no phone till noon, meditate for 20 minutes, study professional skills, work out, review your long-term goals. All right, challenge number 3. Okay, so after college, I was living in New York City, and it was a lot of fun, but it wasn't healthy. I was drinking a fair amount of wine. I was drinking caffeine during the day. I was depressed. I just didn't feel good. And it got so bad that I decided I had to change. But change was hard because it's very easy to slip back into your old habits. So to change, I had to brainwash myself every single day. I had to read and listen and watch information that was going to help me with my health goals. This was to give me the knowledge that I needed, but also to keep it top of mind. And ultimately, this was to entrain my brain to the level of thoughts that I was reading, watching, and listening to. And the idea here is that NPCs don't upgrade their software. They're just passively consuming content without intent, without focus. And that's a dead giveaway that you're a pawn in someone else's game. Okay, so your challenge here is to identify what you want to change in terms of personal growth. This could be your wealth, your health, your relationships, your happiness. But then I want you to pick the single most important one. And every day for the next 30 days, brainwash yourself, okay? For at least 30 minutes, inundate yourself with content that's going to be supportive in you achieving that goal. And you really want to be focused like a dog on a bone, because changing your brain like this requires focus. This is especially true if you're over 25. But if you really do this, if you really immerse yourself in that material and then you take action on it, you're really going to change your default state. Okay, so the next challenge is collect some wood, okay? Every day I want you to go out there, chop a little wood. So last year I signed up for a 50-mile running race, even though I hadn't run more than a mile in years, and I didn't even like running. But I'd been going to the gym for 15 years. I was pretty bulky and I wanted to try something new. And so I started getting books on running and I started reading them, but guess what? I still had to run. And also guess what? It sucked.
Third long run, almost 22 miles. Feeling pretty beat up, but not as bad as last time.
But I appreciated the challenge I was going through. I appreciated the effort because it's kind of a rare thing for people to do, is to go out and push themselves. So if you can appreciate that in the moment, appreciate that it's leading to something greater, you can begin to enjoy effort of all kinds. And long story short, I ended up finishing this 50-mile race. It was a tough run, but I got it done. And the idea here is that action is what separates NPCs from becoming the lead character. And if you can learn to appreciate the friction that you feel when you start doing something new, that's actually going to make any kind of effort more enjoyable. When you go from an NPC state to a state of active engagement, it's like you're a flywheel and you're building momentum, and it's a lot easier to continue doing hard things. Okay, so your quest is to take focused action towards that single thing that you want to achieve, and do so every day for the next 30 days. And it has to be real action, not reading or not consumption of any other kind. Okay, challenge number 5. And actually, there's a bonus challenge after this that's super important, so watch till the end. But anyway, challenge number 5 is to break free of the pleasure cycle. Okay, so after college, I was pretty big into wine, right? I fell for the whole alcohol scam. It's like, hey, want to go get a drink, right? And of course, you do, because everyone else around you is doing it. But ultimately, it was taking a pretty big toll on my health, so I decided to quit. Here is the key insight. I thought I would feel less pleasure by stopping to drink. And actually, what I know now is that that's not true at all. If you're drinking alcohol, it's actually giving you more pain in the long run. You just don't associate that small amount of tiredness or that lack of focus or that lower mood to the alcohol you had 3 nights ago. So if you're a true hedonist, give up the wine. You're gonna feel more pleasure that way. So alcohol, nicotine, social media, junk food, porn, these are a trap. So break free from this spell. So what's the alternative? Well, if you actually pursue hard things, it doesn't sound quite nearly as fun, right? But if you do hard things and you learn to appreciate those hard things by telling yourself that I'm liking this challenge right now, you're gonna increase your baseline level of happiness and motivation, and you're gonna learn to enjoy effort. It's a complete paradigm shift. You cannot imagine it now if you're an NPC world and you're just kind of coping with your day-to-day life. But once you start getting into that state of engagement, it becomes fun to take on these challenges and to do stuff in the world. Okay, so your quest for this one is give up one thing that you're doing for immediate upfront pleasure that's taking from you in the long term. Actually do this for 30 days. And the next part of the challenge is start doing something that's hard every single day that's gonna help you towards your long-term goal. And this should be something that you don't really feel like doing. So if you're already a fitness enthusiast, don't do 100 push-ups a day. All right, so time for the bonus challenge. And this one is perhaps the most important of all. Love the NPC. Because it's really easy to look down on NPCs when you start taking action, when you start crafting your own story. But it's important to understand that being an NPC in some ways is actually an adaptive advantage in the evolutionary sense. Avoiding risks and conforming to the group actually helped our ancestors survive. So if your friends are total NPCs, understand that everyone is doing the best they can at the level of consciousness they're at. Okay, so the key here is focused action. I want you to watch this video again, do all the exercises, and if you feel called to do it, share in the comments. And if you want to learn more about how to make effort fun, watch this video here. I go way in depth into dopamine management. I'll see you there. That was a slog, dog.